Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Snipe Score podcast. We're back, episode number 2. Today, we're talking about the newest extensions, including Kirill Kaprizov and Alexander Barkov's injury that we unfortunately might have alluded to last episode that we can confirm today. Also, standings. We're going to talk about it. We're going to predict it. We're probably going to be wrong, but who knows? Sean, over to you.
Kaprizov, highest paid hockey player in history. The Panthers, huge blow to their captain. Very sad. And a couple more huge extensions. The Ducks now have a richest player in franchise history. Aiden, what do you want to start off first? How about Kaprizov? We kind of alluded to it last time. He was a little unhappy. And then a few days later, bang, highest paid player in hockey now.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Is this a good signing for the Wild? Is this too much? What do you think?
Let's talk about Krill the Thrill. He signs for $1 million more. He signed for 7 years, I believe, $17 million per year. Which it totals out to, I believe, maybe it's 8 years. It might be 8 years, 7 or 8 years. I'm sorry, my math might be wrong, but it totals out to $136 million per year total.
Pretty sure it's 8.
It might be. I think. Okay, so liars. It's 8 times 17. It totals out to $137 million over the course of those 8 years. For Minnesota, I think it's huge because they retain their star player that was a core piece of this team for the next few years, and they needed to retain Kaprizov. Is the price high now? Yes. Is this contract going to look huge in the next 3 years? Probably not. As we've mentioned multiple times over the multiple episodes we've recorded over the summer, and now the cap is going up, and this is a good thing for UFAs like McDavid, Eichel, and some of the lower end free agents I wouldn't say lower end, but like that second tier free agents like Adrian Kempe and Alex Tuch, because now you have your bar standard for your top tiers players. Now that number comes down, you can kind of see where you're going to range out for those mid-tier free agents in that second tier, like a Kempe or a Tuck, where that number might have been 10, and now it might bump up to a 12, it might drop back down to an 11. Like, you now have a bar set to where these UFAs might be starting to get extensions if they can find the time to.
Yeah, I agree with all that. A couple guys that come to mind in next year's free agent class that could probably surpass that. What about a Kyle Connor or Connor McDavid? Any of these guys, Jack Eichel, right?
I personally think Eichel will be over 17. This is going to sound like an outrageous take. I think that McDavid signs for less than 15. And I
don't doubt it.
say that. I'll rephrase that. He'll sign for less than 15 if he stays in Edmonton.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing.
If he stays in Edmonton, I think he signs for less than 15. Because I think he's going to want to try to keep the core around and give the team money to be able to build around them. If he goes elsewhere, upwards of 20. I could see Eichel getting upwards of 19. I don't think Connor. I think Connor gets around the same number, between 16 to 18 million around Kaprizov. I don't think he goes much higher or lower than him. But that's where I see where those guys pan out. Obviously, I'm not an agent. I don't do marketing. That's your stuff. But that's where I can kind of predict these numbers going up. Now we have a base mark for Kaprizov signed.
Yeah, I think Kyle Connor, like I said, the number may look ridiculous now, but like we keep saying, it could be higher than Kaprizov if he signs elsewhere. Maybe if he stays in Winnipeg, he'll want to say, hey, maybe I want to give the team a chance to win. Let me sign for a little less. But either way, they're still going to get their bag. It's going to look ridiculous, but with the cap going up, it only makes sense. This is the new, like you said in last week's episode, this is the new 8-9 million, right, for what was once, I don't know, like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, I'd say that with the high end deals that you looked at back then, you saw 8-9 million. Like, oh my God, he got how much money?
Yeah,
that's what it is nowadays. Like, he's like, Kaprizov got 17. Well, what the hell is McDavid gonna get? Like, you look out there and you see and we'll talk about the extension of Jackson Lacombe here in a second. But you see Jackson Lacombe get $9 million per year, and like, he should not be being paid as much as that money. Like, but as much as I think he's alluded to Jacob Chikrin, who's arguably a top 20 defenseman in this league. And you're getting a guy that's kind of improving, but could have the ceiling of being a great top 4, even at the great ceiling of being a top 4 right now, but a top 2 shutdown defenseman in Jackson Lacombe, a little bit of offensive upside, 9 a year. Like, that contract could be a steal. But again, people are looking at that at face value like, oh my God, he got that how much? It's exactly what's going to happen if the Sabres re-sign Tuch to like 6 years at $12 million per. They're like, they gave Alex Tuch $12 million. He's not worth more than Rasmus Dahlin. Well, here's the thing. If you look at it, that contract is going to look like $7 million. Just think about it. When all these guys keep going up, when you see McDavid, all those numbers, you know how much money Tage Thompson's going to make in the next 4 years? $7 million for a 40-goal scorer that might hit 100 points if he's healthy all year with a good roster. Think about that. All I'm going to say. That's just an example. Like Matt Boldy, same boat. All these guys that sign these cheap-end contracts that are back at a couple years ago that signed those long-term deals are going to look like steals because of how the cap is going to raise.
And this may look like a headache for management, but from a fan perspective and from a player perspective, I think this is very exciting because this only shows how much the game is growing, how much more expensive it is. I think Sportico just came out with the highest valued franchises.
They did.
The Maple Leafs are at $2 billion now. I
Yep.
mean, more than 75% of the teams just over like 5 years ago weren't even in the millions. It was
No.
in the hundred thousands.
Well, even look at Buffalo. They jumped up a couple billion, and they jumped up a couple rankings too. They gained money. The Sabres, who have been garbage the last 14 years, and well, let's say I'm a Sabres fan, they've been garbage and not even worthy of like having anybody, put any kind of investment value or fan product out there. They've gained money and they jumped a couple spots up the list. They actually outranked Montreal, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Or no,
I
it's
think
not
really
Montreal.
cool.
My bad. It's Ottawa. They outranked Ottawa.
I think it's really cool, and you don't see a whole lot of other leagues like I don't know, like the NBA. I'll throw the MLS in there. NHL's got 32 teams. It's popular.
Yep.
People want to see teams in the NHL. People want to see hockey. I think it's really cool. The league's only growing. They might have 34 by the time the NBA has 32.
I think they'll have 36. Hot take.
I don't think it's a hot take at all. I think it's very realistic. And I want to start this discussion because I know we talked about it last episode with Atlanta and Houston, and people are throwing around a second Toronto team. Maybe Quebec City comes back. I don't think Quebec City and Toronto are realistic.
Toronto's definitely not
I don't know
realistic.
if they want hockey in Arizona again, but Houston and Atlanta are realistic. And
Yes.
if you want to get the league to 36, what other two cities do you consider?
New Orleans has been big into pushing for one.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
If they can
Steve,
find a
what would that
better,
team be
if they
called?
can find a better owner, I think the Coyotes come back. I do believe that. The NHL
They're not going to,
loves. Hear me out. The NHL loves, and I mean loves, to go back to old cities. Calgary, they did it with Winnipeg, Atlanta, not once but twice, and it's gonna look like it's gonna be a third time. Like they love going back to old cities.
My thing is, if it does happen with Arizona, it's probably not going to happen within the next 10 years.
I agree.
Like they're gonna have to find a new arena. There wasn't even an owner when they were trying to sell the team that wanted to buy the team.
Yeah, because it was such a train wreck. Now that there's no team,
That is true.
they'd be coming back as an expansion. I think you could maybe get a couple of investors that are in the area that's not who the old owner was. Alex Morello was his name.
I know his last name was Morello.
Morello, who destroyed that team and destroyed any kind of deal that they could have with the city. I think if you get some new guys in there that put the city in the good gracious, I think Arizona could come back, and I hope so. We all miss the Coyotes. We love Utah. They're a fun team. The Mammoth are going to be great. They're going to be pretty solid this year.
And they have a great owner.
They
great
do.
Owner, turning the entire arena around, turning
Yep.
the entire culture, team around. Really, really
But
cool.
we all, honestly, if you're a hockey fan, you miss Arizona because when the Coyotes were good, man, that Glendale was rocking. So
So we what the heck? We somehow turned Kirill Kaprizov into what the heck is going on in Arizona.
yeah, it's funny how that works. Speaking of what the heck's going on, Florida. Oh boy, we've got major issues.
Yeah, we talked about this last time. Barkov is most likely out for the season. They said 7 to 9 months. Look, if he's through in 7 months, that's good enough to be in the playoffs.
If he's out 7 months, he's gonna not even be half the player he would be if he was healthy. And if I am Florida, this is gonna sound real dumb, but I know how they work their trade deadlines and I know how they work their phones. And his cap hit's gonna come off the books because he's gonna be on LTIR all year. If I wouldn't even take that chance of re-aggravating it, I'd keep him out the entire year, have him healthy for next year. You have depth at the middle. You have Lundell. You have Rodriguez. You have Losterainen. Sam Reinhart can play center. You've got plenty of guys up the middle that can. They're obviously not going to fill Alexander Barkov's role. Good Lord, Alexander Barkov's role there. But it's not like you're hurting. Like Mackie Samasevich can play a bigger role. You've got guys like him that they also got down that didn't have a lot of opportunity last year that can come up that kind of showed some flashes last year towards the end of the year. And they can also go on the trade market and find somebody that's out there. I'm sure there'll be plenty of pieces out there for them to trade for, especially down the middle if they're looking for it. But this is a huge blow to Florida because you're losing your top center, you're losing your captain, and you're losing a perennial top 3 to top 5 Selke vote getter in the NHL. And it's a terrible loss for them. And as we said last episode, Makachuk's out long term as well. He's probably not coming back until after the Olympics because of
forgot about that too.
because of his injury that he sustained in the Four Nations, and then obviously because he's Matthew Tkachuk, played the entire playoffs with it and obviously didn't help it. I think it's a big loss for Florida, but I still think they'll be competitive enough to be top 3 in the East. In the East, in the Atlantic. There's a chance they could win the division in the Atlantic. Again, I wouldn't put it past them, but if I am Bill Zito, I'm probably going out there and looking for a center that I can just kind of plug and play that can play 3 spots, just be good, not great. And I'm sure there's plenty of options out there for him.
Okay, top 3 in the East might be a little bit of a stretch. Top 3 in the Atlantic, yes. Yeah, the East I think is a lot better than I think what most people think. There are going to be a lot of sneaky good teams. Florida with all those injuries, they're still making the playoffs. I'd be surprised if they don't.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people would. Top 3 in the East without those 2 guys for half the season, it's going to be tough, no doubt about it. Brad Marchand, get ready to learn captain again, buddy. They're really going to need his leadership. That's what they signed him to, that 6-year deal for.
It is. Oh, I forgot they got Sam Bennett up the middle too. Just another guy you can just throw in the middle and just
sorry, go
play.
ahead.
Continue.
I will say this about Barkov, okay? Mm-hmm. If he does come back in the playoffs, I had a friend tell me during the postseason when Landeskog comes back from injury, it's not about the way he plays. It's the fact that they have a leader back with the team that gives him that boost.
Yeah, I don't know that guy.
Yeah, when Barkov comes back, I'm telling you, Aiden, I regret what I said about Landeskog because he did make a difference. And he wasn't that much of a difference on the ice. He was a little bit of a difference.
He scored a
played
goal.
Well. He scored a goal, yeah. He was a little bit effective. He was more effective than I thought he was going to be. But, man, that team rallied around him. The entire city was so happy to see him back. It's going to be the same thing in Florida. That's their Landeskog.
When he scored, what was it, Game 3 he came back? Was it Game 3 or Game 4? I think it was Game 3.
I forget what it was.
Colorado, well, they beat the Stars that game. I think they beat them they beat up Dallas pretty good.
But Landeskog, even though he wasn't effective on the ice, taught me, and you taught me this, teams need to rally around their captain. When Barkov comes back, it will make a difference. Maybe not so much on the ice because of the way he plays after his injury,
right,
but as a leader.
Right. And I think that's kind of how Winnipeg is going to be around Taves, even though he's not their captain.
Yeah.
But we all know Jonathan Taves.
Right.
We're getting sidetracked here, guys. Get used to it. It's the podcast. But
no, this is all making sense.
But I think that Winnipeg, he might be playing 4th-line minutes, but it's captain serious. Like, Jonathan Taves is going to light a spark. Just like, as you said, Barkov would. Landeskog, when he scored that goal in the playoffs last year, I think it was Game 3, that building came unglued. The bench went unglued. Like, that entire team was losing it. And it was great for hockey because we all saw Landy is back. He might not be as good as he once was, but he's back, he's playing, he's healthy, and everybody loves that. Like, I think those are the 2 best stories in the NHL right now going into this year. Gabriel Landeskog finally back for a full NHL season, and Jonathan Taves' first year in, 3 years? Since COVID? Maybe?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
3 or 4. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has been. Sorry. Yeah, it has been a long time. Yeah, too long. I'm glad to see him playing hockey again, especially for his hometown.
It's going to be really interesting to see Taves versus Kane.
I was just about to say that before. I was going to take a sip of water, and then I was going to say I want to see Detroit versus Winnipeg, even though those 2 teams mean nothing, but the players on each side mean something.
Yes.
Sorry.
Anywho, now we're done talking about all the stuff that gets us in our feels. Let's talk about which young defenseman do we want to talk about first?
I feel like, I don't know, Lacombe is important, but I think Hughes is more important because I think there's more to add to this one because of the fact of what Vancouver said last year about trying to get the Hughes brothers to play together.
Okay, well, then all yours, man.
Oh, man. I have something stuck in my throat. This sucks. Okay, so the Devils extend Luke Hughes. He's playing alongside with his brother Jack Hughes. I know Vancouver kind of alluded to, hey, we're going to try to make a move to get the Hughes brothers in Vancouver. Or, obviously, I think it was Jack. It was Jack who said, at some point in his career, he wants to play with all of his brothers.
I promise you, Quinn will go to We'll go to New Jersey. Before
and that's what I think too. So when Vancouver, when management said that at the press conference, I was like, that one, my favorite.
It was
meme,
Jim Rutherford, wasn't that said that?
I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
My favorite meme. The anime guy, big chin, putting his hand on the other shoulder. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, buddy.
Edit it in.
Not gonna happen. Yeah. So I think it's interesting. This is a big extension. Man, I know Quinn wants to play in New Jersey.
For context, the extension is 7 years, $63 million. It is a total of $9 million per year.
Yeah, I mean, it's rare you have 3 brothers all playing in the NHL together, but it's so rare that all three of them are stars.
Yeah.
So
well, I wouldn't call Luke Hughes a star yet. He's
pretty good.
He's good. I wouldn't call him a star yet. Jack and Quinn are stars. I think that Luke. Too many fucking Hughes. Excuse me. Too many freaking Hughes brothers. We'll edit that out. Just too many Hughes brothers to remember. But Luke, I think he's a good defenseman. If he can take that next step, I could see him being great. Not as good as Quinn, but a great offensive defenseman. I could see it. Speaking of offensive defensemen, they have another defenseman making $9 million this year. And you alluded to it in our production meeting. Quotes. Talk about Dougie Hamilton.
So, this is interesting because now you have Dougie Hamilton and Luke Hughes both making $9 million a year. That's kind of crowded. So I read today some insiders were talking about, well, maybe there's a possibility the Devils could look to move Hamilton, which will make sense because the Devils are going to be an expensive team. And maybe Dougie just doesn't fit the equation anymore if they want to get younger.
Right.
Not that Dougie Hamilton's like old. I just,
He is old.
he's definitely getting older. Yeah, it might be time to move him. I wonder if teams are going to be interested. I wonder if the contract kind of pushes people away. Will it be difficult to get rid of the contract? Probably not. We'll see. It'll be very interesting.
This is going to sound interesting. This is going to be a really bold take. You know who I could see taking a chance on him?
Who?
Calgary.
Yeah.
Think about it. Anderson's not re-signing. We know this. He's probably going to get traded, no matter what the position is, come trade deadline or before that, because he's already expressed interest in not re-signing. As far as I know, he wants to be a Vegas Golden Knight, which I think is a lot of bukkake, but I don't care. So you can replace him with a guy that's already been there. He's a veteran. I know his contract's not great, but he's been in Calgary before. He could help the young guys like Zane Perrick come up in a couple years, and he'd be able to replace Anderson's production if he's healthy. I don't know if it's the same Dougie Hamilton that was 2 years ago when he signed that contract in New Jersey. He has a lot of injuries, but I still think he's a really good top four offensive defenseman, which is something Calgary probably could use. They've got a lot of good, decent defensive guys that can play some defense. They don't have a lot of scoring on that back end. It's Rasmus Anderson, and I forget who else they have on that back end. It's probably because Aiden's a little casual right now, but they could use a Dougie Hamilton on the back end if and when they lose Anderson.
I think it's a great point. I think it's a very good point. And I'm trying to think maybe I'm just talking a bunch of BS because maybe with the salary cap rising, as we keep saying, maybe having two starred, I know you don't think Luke is a star yet, but
I think he can be. I think he's really good.
Maybe having two of those guys on your blue line for $9 million a year, maybe that's just going to be the new norm in a couple years.
Well,
maybe that's going to be normal. But as of right now, it looks like a lot.
Well, case in point, look at Buffalo's three of their top four defensemen. Byram's making 6.25. Power's making just over 8, and Dahlin's making just under 12. That entire backing combined is making damn near $34 million.
That's true, but then I look at their forwards, and I think maybe they're not spending like a ton of money.
Well, no, they're not. Their highest paid forward is Josh Norris, making almost 9. They traded for him.
That's what I'm saying. And you look at New Jersey, and that's not the case.
No, because they got Bratt, and they've got Andrei Palat's making a decent chunk of change. Jack Hughes makes a decent chunk of change. So yeah, they've got guys up front that make a decent amount of money, and also they locked up Markstrom to a decently sized contract as well.
They did. Yep.
2 years ago. Crazy to say that.
I think they're also working on another extension with him.
Markstrom?
Yeah.
I don't think he was due, but he might be. But like I said, but they got a steal in Jake Allen for what they signed him for they signed him for less than $3 million, I think. They got a nice contract in him.
Yeah, it was a very good steal.
Because they signed him right before the trade deadline, I think. It was either right before or it was right before free agency hit, because this year's free agency was boring as all get out.
Yeah, the Devils are in talks with Markstrom for an extension. That's interesting because, like you said, I think it was just 2 years ago when he actually signed there. So
yeah, maybe it wasn't that big of an extension then. Maybe it might have been like a 2 or 3 year deal then. I thought it was longer than that.
Yeah, we'll see. But Devils are getting expensive. Just something to keep in mind. Maybe they look to move Hamilton in the future. Maybe this $9 million a year two-star defenseman's on your blue line. It's just going to be the new norm with the cap rising. We'll see.
I think it'll be the new trend. I think it will be. But speaking of defensemen that got paid a lot of money, Jackson Lacombe got himself a bag today. 8-year, $9 million per. That's $72 million total extension. It is the largest contract in Anaheim Ducks history. It's a risk, somewhat, on Lacombe. He's proven to be a really good defenseman, but he has yet to take that next step. I think he's going to take that next step this year. I think he's going to be a really good top 2 defenseman for Anaheim to help that very young but could be very great blue line and what the Ducks have. I think it's a good deal for both. I think the next 2 years, that contract, you're going to look back at it, it's like, man, the Ducks really got a steal for him. When all these cap numbers go up and you're seeing defensemen like him get paid $15, $16 million. And they get him for 9. I think it's a good deal for them, and I think it's a good deal for the Lacombe, and I think the Ducks are really smart for locking up some of their core pieces. As we talk about, McTavish got his large extension. Finally ended holdout talks a couple weeks ago. Now Lacombe gets paid. It's taken the Ducks a little while to get their RFA signed, but at least, thankfully, they've gotten him signed.
So my thing with Lacombe is I don't think it's a risk. I think this is a great sign for the Ducks because I mean I think he's going to be one of the best offensive defensemen in the NHL. 14 goals, 25 assists. I think it's just a matter until he takes that next step, which I very much believe he is going to do. He's so young. I mean, there's so much room to improve. This is going to look like a very cheap deal in the future. He could be one of the best defensemen in the league if he takes the right steps. Great move by the Ducks. I'm waiting for them to take that next step. I think they're young. I think they're talented. It's just a matter of time before we actually see them compete. Will that be this year? Probably not. This was a move for the future, and this looks like a very good deal. I think they got one of their best defensemen. This is a good sign.
My personal thing is I think we see it a lot with younger players now in the NHL. And the Sabres kind of started this trend when they signed Cousins and Thompson and Samuelson after like a half a season or a year of good production. Teams are no longer paying for production in young players. You know what they're paying for? Potential.
Yeah, that's all fair.
We see you do it once. We're going to pay you now with the belief that you are going to continue to do what you did or be better than what you were.
Yep.
That's why Hughes got his money. That's why Lacombe got his. That's way back in 2022 or 2023 when Tage Thompson got his contract with a 130 goal season. People were like, oh my God, they paid him $7 million for one good year of production, and then the next year he goes up and scores 47.
Yep.
People were like, oh my God, that's one of the best contracts in hockey. Matt Boldy, same thing. Oh, $7 million for him, and then he goes out and he's been a stud ever since. Like, he already was a stud before then, but like still, like. And sometimes it works off. Tage Thompson and some other guys. Sometimes it doesn't. Dylan Cousins has not lived up to it. Josh Norris has been injured. Has not lived up to it. There's a few other guys. He's like, you paid them early. And they have like Samuelson has not been that way yet. Owen Power. I know I'm naming off a lot of Sabres. I'm sorry, I'm a fan. I know a lot about the team. Power has not lived up to that potential yet. I think he will once it's alongside Kessler for an entire year. But it's a risk, and teams are willing to take that risk because they know what the potential can be, and the cap is going up.
Yep, I agree with all that. And I'll talk about my team. Protas.
Yes.
He's a 30 goal scorer now.
Protas.
He makes $3 million a year over the next 5 years. Can you imagine if he hit free agency and didn't extend him? Oh my gosh, we would be in some deep shit. So I'm glad they signed the extension when he did because he'd be getting paid a lot more.
And didn't Strom get a raise too? That wasn't too much as well, and he's been fantastic.
Yeah. I mean that's all true. Yep, another cheap deal. Probably should have gotten more if he didn't sign that extension. So yeah, that's another good point.
All right, well that's all we have for our news and notes. We're going to talk about predictions and standings.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
Yes, we are. I'm going to start off here with the Atlantic Division. I have Tampa winning the division, Florida being the 2, Toronto being the 3, Ottawa, Buffalo, Montreal, Detroit, and then Boston coming in last. Just the top 3 reasoning is that the Tampa, Florida, and Toronto, they all have. I understand Toronto lost Marner and Florida's without Barkov and Kachuk, but I think all 3 teams are still coached extremely well. And I think that all 3 teams still have so much star power on this roster that they're just going to be the top 3 to be in the Atlantic. And I don't see them falling off too much. Toronto maybe, but I think the other 2 not so much. As much as I hate to say it because I can't stand the Senators, I think they continue that next step. They didn't really add much in free agency, but they retained Giroux. And I just think that this team is going to stay there. I don't think that the end of last year, I hate to say it, but I don't think it was a fluke. I think Ottawa is a really good team. And I think they can sustain it. It all just comes down to if they can. They're young guys like Cousins and Stützle and not so much Stützle, but like Cousins and Batherson can make the next step. And if like some of the defense core can make that next step, well, if Yankumchuk or Yakemchuk, I think he might be up this year for them, another top prospect. If again, even if Thomas Chabot can kind of just be better than he has been, he's been okay, but he hasn't been the old Thomas Chabot. I have Buffalo ahead of Montreal. I think that Montreal was a one year fluke. I'm sorry. I understand they added Noah Dobson. Team doesn't impress me. They really don't. I think that was a 1 year fluke that they got hot at the right time, just like the Capitals a couple years ago, and they're done. I don't trust them. Buffalo, my big thing with them is if they can stay healthy, I think that year 2 Lindy Ruff will have this team contending for a playoff spot. Do I think they make it? I hate to say it. I've been saying it all year. I'm like, yeah, Buffalo can make it. With how banged up they are right now, with how the goaltending has looked, if they're rolling out Georgiev and Alex Lyons open tonight, I don't like that tandem for 2-3 weeks. So it could set them back. And if they're chasing, we know how it ends with the Sabres. It's not going to be good. Detroit didn't do enough in the offseason to make me be like, yep, they improved enough. You can interchange Montreal, Buffalo, Detroit, honestly, and it wouldn't hurt my feelings. And then Boston, they added grit. They didn't add any skill. They're going to be bad. I don't care if they get back McAvoy when the defenders are going to be bad. This team should be looking to rebuild, not retool, and that's what they're doing is trying to retool. And I hate that decision, and I think they're going to be last in the Atlantic for the first time in God knows how long.
I agree with everything you said. Literally everything. Nothing I'd change except I'd actually put Buffalo at 4.
Really? Over Ottawa?
I think it'll be really close. I think they're going to be neck and neck. They might be fighting for that wild card position. I think both are going to be very solid teams. I said that last year about Buffalo. I'm not going to have them making the playoffs because I made that mistake last year, and I was laughed at for it.
Yeah, I laughed
and
at
rightfully
you.
so.
The Sabre fan
I will not be
laughed at
making
you.
that mistake again.
Like I said, for Buffalo, it all comes down to if they can stay healthy and if Jack Quinn and Zach Benson can take that next step. From what I've seen in Benson in preseason playing with Norris and Thompson, he's been great. Jack Quinn has not done enough. Yuri Kulik has looked invisible at times. However, the one piece of that third line that I thought has looked really good has been Josh Doan, which is very good for Sabres fans. Again, but 4 out of their 6 defensemen are hurt right now that are going to be starting in the NHL. That is not good. I think that at least Sammy's going to be out opening night, I'm pretty sure. We're going to find out about Kesselring. He got hurt last night. He's day-to-day. Hopefully he plays. I could live without Samuelson playing because he's better that he's out of the lineup than in it. That's just my opinion. Sean, your team's in the Metro. You can leave this one on.
Let me just finish off with my stuff in the Atlantic. Sorry. So, top 3, same order. Toronto, Tampa, Florida. I Buffalo at 4. You can interchange Ottawa, Buffalo for 4 and 5. I do have Montreal at 6. I don't think they're going to be a terrible team. They might be 500, right? Maybe 500, maybe a little less.
I agree.
And then you can interchange Detroit and Boston. They're going to be the worst in that division. I don't think I need to say much more. No. Detroit, just like you said, Boston's retooling. Probably not the best decision.
No.
Maybe just go full-on rebuild at this point. Pastrnak can't carry the entire load. He's great, but can't carry that entire team. He doesn't really have anybody around him. Detroit, I've been saying this about Detroit since we started this podcast. They needed to do something at the deadline. They needed to do something in the offseason. They needed a couple more pieces to finally put someone around them to make them a contender. I think they have some pieces right now, but just not enough to make them great.
You know who their big signing in the offseason was?
Who was it?
Mason Appleton.
Yeah, no. Detroit will be 7 or 8. On to the Metro. Aiden, give me your teams from the Metro.
That's all you, bro. You're a Caps fan.
Okay, well, I feel like one's kind of undisputed. I'm actually not putting the Caps.
Carolina?
The Hurricanes, man. Okay. I hate saying out loud. I want to puke in my mouth. I can't stand the Hurricanes. They will be first. They're the best team. This is the hottest take of them all. But I am so convinced of this. You already know who I'm putting it to.
CBJ?
Nope.
Jersey?
Nope.
Really? Who?
The Rangers.
Really?
Dude, I'm telling you, they're a talented team. I know they lost Miller.
It's a Laviolette issue. It's not the team.
I'm telling you, it's all coaching. They needed a new face in the locker room. They're still a talented team. Nope, they're a talented team. I'm telling you. Sullivan will get them all turned around. I'm putting New York at 2. Got my Caps at 3. I am putting New Jersey. Yep, New Jersey at 4.
Okay.
However, CBJ right behind them. I mean, like between 2 and 3 points behind them.
We'll talk about CBJ.
They are very, very, very close.
We'll talk about CBJ.
And not too far from them. I think they're going to be a lot better than what people think. Tocchet, I think, is a great head coach. I just don't want to put him that far up yet because I don't want to make an ass out of myself. But the Flyers, I think, are going to be better than what people think they are. I don't think they're going to be total disappointments. I will put them at 6, but don't be surprised if they're sniffing around
the playoffs,
a wild card spot towards the last 5-6 games of the year. I'm not kidding. I think they're not a bad team at all. I wouldn't be surprised if they make the playoffs. I'm not going to say that quite yet. Islanders 7, Pittsburgh 8. Pittsburgh's going to be the worst team in the NHL. Thank God. I've been waiting my entire life to see that.
I don't think they're going to be the worst team in the
Pittsburgh.
NHL. I think they'll be 31, but I don't think they'll be 32.
Oh, who's going to be 32?
We'll get to them.
All right.
My Metro, I have the Caps winning the division.
Nice.
Because Russian machine never breaks.
That's right.
The Caps didn't get worse.
Ryan Leonard, Connor McMichael, Protas, we're getting younger.
Like I said, I think a full year of Ryan Leonard now being in the NHL is going to make a big difference.
I love the fact they're finally getting younger. I love this. They were so old 2 years ago, and now I'm fresh, young, great faces. I love seeing this.
And they really didn't. They didn't add much, but they didn't have to, if that makes any kind of sense.
Because they got younger.
Right. Well, not even that. The core was good last year. They just kind of ran out of gas, and they ran into Carolina. And I mean, unless you're Florida or you're in the third round against them, you're not going to beat them.
Will Ryan Leonard be a difference maker?
Yes.
I hope so.
Yes.
I really hope so.
I will put money on it right.
I am nervous because I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe Boston. Maybe he's just better than what everyone thought of Boston College because he had the line to help him around.
No. Watch his World Juniors tape. He's phenomenal.
I hope so.
I'll put money on it right now. We can come back to this when we hit March when they're doing Calder voting. I think he's top 3 in Calder voting by the end of the year. I think he's going to be that good.
Wow.
Carolina, I have them too. They add Nick Ehlers. They add some scoring touch, add some speed. That's what they needed to do. They add Keandre Miller. I think that they're going to be fine. I think they're going to be number 2. Like I said, you can interchange 1 and 2, Washington and Carolina, and I wouldn't be mad at you. 3, I've got New Jersey. I think they're, as I said,
is New Jersey actually going to be better than the Rangers though?
I think so. If they have a healthy defense core, they have one of the best defense cores in the league, and they've probably got one of the best tandems, if not in the league. And as long as as long as Hughes can stay healthy, this offense is going to be just fine. They're a high, fast scoring team. Number 4, I have CBJ. I think this Columbus team makes the playoffs as an 8 seed. They were so close last year. And I think that as long as they have decent goaltending, whether that means they trade Smerzlikins and they call up Fedotov or whatever, or Elvis figures it out because Jet Greaves is the guy. I think that they're good enough to make it to the playoffs.
Jet Greaves has had some struggles in the preseason. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, he hasn't.
He hasn't?
Oh, no. That's been
mind.
Elvis. Elvis has struggled. Jet Greaves has been good.
Interesting.
The Rangers I have at 5. I am not high on this Rangers team.
Man.
I dislike them a lot. They trade away Trouba last year. They trade away Kreider this offseason.
Yeah, get those old heads out of there, man. Time to bring in the fresh faces.
But they don't have fresh faces to begin.
Bro?
That's about it. I don't like Brennan Othman. I'm sorry, he used to be good, but I don't love it. And when you're running Matt Rempe out there for 8 minutes a night to go hit something and take 2-minute penalties, I don't know what to tell you. I think that Edstrom's good. He's tall and knows how to use his body in a legal way. I mean, I guess they add Vlad Gavrikov, which I think is a good move for them, but this defense core I don't trust enough. I don't trust the defense core, and Shesterkin is good, but do I trust Jonathan Quick? And even for that, do I trust Shesterkin? He didn't have a great year last year.
But he's still solid.
Oh, he's still definitely a top 10 goaltender in the league. I don't doubt that.
Right.
But it all comes down to the offense. Is Zibanejad going to come back to his levels? Is JT Miller going to be healthy because he's hurt right now with what? I don't know. People have speculated it's a groin. I don't know. We're not here to speculate, but it's some kind of lower body injury. We'll leave it at that. Just like the NHL does in their vague terms. I don't trust this forward group whatsoever.
If they suck this year, I don't know how Chris Drury stays the GM. I don't know why they extend him in the first
If they're not in a play, if they're not within 5 points for the playoff spot by the deadline, if I'm the Rangers, sounds crazy. I'm firing them.
It's not crazy.
I would let somebody else handle the deadline.
It's not crazy. I just don't know why they extended him.
Because if they're that far out, if they're like 10 points out come trade deadline, Zibanejad, gone. Miller, just named captain, don't care, gone.
That's going to be hard to trade him.
They'll find suitors. I guarantee somebody would take them. You need to start bringing in prospects. Terribly, because they're like in such a tweenerville to where they could be really good, or they could shit the bed and look bad. That's where I feel on the Rangers. I don't love them. Number 6, I like the Flyers. They trade for Zegras. They bring in Rick Tocchet, which I thought was an excellent signing for head coach. I just have to see it on the ice first.
Exactly. That's my thing.
I have to see it. They've got a lot of good talent. They got a lot of good talent. If Cam York on that back can take the next step, if Draisaitl, good lord, Jamie Drysdale can take that next step. If Zegras can get back to his old form, if Michkov can continue to improve off that fantastic rookie season he had last year, you've got guys like what's his name? Tyson Forrester, who's been really consistent, underrated player in the NHL. Watch out for him. He's going to have a really good year for Philly. But can you make that happen throughout an entire 82-game season? I think if they can, they'll be contending for a playoff spot at Game 82. If they can't, first year of the head coach, they'll bring in more talent. I'm not worried about Danny Brière's job. I think Danny knows what he's doing.
The Flyers remind me a whole lot of the Chicago Bears. I'm making an NFL analogy.
It's true, though.
Because they can have all the talent in the world, but they can never just seem to put it together and make the playoffs.
That's like the Sabres,
too. In the playoffs. Yeah, exactly. We got Caleb Williams, we got Ben Johnson now. Oh, we're going to be so good. Guys, this is the year. We're making the playoffs. I got to see on the field first before they do it well. Oh. Same thing with the Flyers. Tocchet, Zegras. Yeah, they look talented. I need to see it on the ice first. I'm not saying anything.
7 seed I have, or 7 spot in the Metro. I have the Islanders. They add Schaefer, first overall pick. They add Drouin. They get Declare back for a full year. I still don't like this team. I think Cal Ritchie might be up this year, maybe. Got them in the Brock Nelson trade last year. Like, they're meh.
Yeah, they're kind of just a mess
They're,
now.
they're pretty meh. They're just mid. They're like Islanders teams, just mid.
Yep.
Pittsburgh sucks. They're 8 seed.
Nice. Woo!
They suck. Even though their AHL team just beat the Sabres in preseason, but they suck.
Well, good thing we're talking about the NHL, not the AHL.
Right. They suck. They got Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and Rust. That's about it. They suck.
Screw you, Pittsburgh.
They're going to be bad. Unless Sidney Crosby finds one last miracle in his 36, 7-year-old body and turns back the clock. Which he's a top 20 center right now, I think. He might be a top 20 player, actually, now that I think about it. But one player is not going to carry an entire NHL roster that's mid at best. Especially with how loaded the Eastern Conference is. This team's bottom 3 easily. Easily. Especially with a new head coach. Easily bottom 3 team. They're not going to be great.
Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Bottom 1 team.
They're not going to be last.
But they will be.
They'll be bottom 3. They're not going to be last.
Who's last?
We're about to talk about them when we get to the Central.
Oh, I thought you meant in the. Okay, I thought you meant in the East.
Oh, East,
they're
yeah.
Bottom 1
oh,
team
yeah.
in the East.
They're last in the East. They're not last in the NHL.
Okay, I still think they're bottom 1 team in the NHL in the East. So.
Nah, I don't think so.
Intertwines.
I think there's one team in the Central that has done nothing but tire spin the last 3 years.
Okay, I already know who it's going to be,
You
but I
do
still
know
think
who it
Pittsburgh's.
is. You do know who it is. I'm gonna call out that entire organization here in a second.
I was going to say we were talking about the same team. Okay, yeah, you can talk about them. I still think Pittsburgh's going to be worse, but go ahead, say your thing.
Central, I've got Dallas winning the division in the Central. Just that team's loaded. They retain everybody pretty much.
Even with the new head coach.
Yep, they retain everybody. They get rid of Matt Dumba's contract to fill stuff. They get Johnston, Bjork, all those guys get their extensions. Ben's back. Sagan's healthy. Duchesne is back. They retain. They're fine. Colorado's the 2 seed. Landeskog's got a full year. I think they'll be good. They got Natchez. They got McKinnon. They're fine. Winnipeg with the 3 seed. I hate that they lost Nikolai Ehlers, but they retained Velarde, getting his contract done. I still think they're a solid team, and obviously you've got Connor Hellebuyck, so he's the best goalie in the league. Won the MVP last year in the Hart. He's still going to be good. I think you can find a way to replace Ehlers' production. It's going to sound crazy through Cole Perfetti. Hopefully he takes that next step for them, and I think they'll be just fine. And obviously they had Jonathan Taves. My 4 seed is Minnesota. They add Tarasenko, re-sign Kaprizov. They pretty much retain everybody. I forgot who they signed as a backup. Doesn't really matter because Philip Gustafson's great. They should have Juracek come up this year. They traded for him last year, just adding to that very impressive defense core that they've made. I think that if their defense core is really good, it'll carry that team with the deficiencies that they have in the offense. I think they'll be good. My 6 seed or my 5 seed, is Utah. Add Peterka, get some more scoring on that front line that they didn't really need. They just traded Connor Ingram, so they're rolling with Vejmelka, and I forgot who the backup is. Sean, you can look that for me, and when you do yours, you can tell me. I think Utah was good last year. They just were kind of too inconsistent. I think that finally now that they have year 3 under Torgy, I think they'll take that next step, especially getting a playmaker like Peterka. He'll help generate more depth scoring on that second line. I think Utah could be a playoff team. I actually have them making the playoffs in mind. I have Minnesota and Utah as my wild cards.
No way. Guess who their backup goalie is?
Who is it?
My boy Vitek Vanacek.
Vitek Vanacek. So they signed Vanacek in the offseason to be the backup. I have St. Louis as my 6th seed. Like I said, you can interchange Minnesota, Utah, and St. Louis. I think all 3 teams could. St. Louis, they just extended Cam Fowler. They didn't really, again, another thing, they didn't really lose much. They didn't. I don't think they added too much either. They're just kind of standing pat. I think St. Louis is good. I have Nashville as my 7th seed. They didn't do jack squat in the offseason. And they added a bunch of old guys last year, and they sucked. And they retained Andrew Brunette. Why should I think they're going to be any better? They're not. My 8th seed, the worst team in the NHL. No, it's not San Jose this year. I've actually got San Jose a little bit higher. It's Chicago. And they're going to jack like Connor Bedard. They're wasting Connor Bedard. They're banking on their young talent and Frankie Nazar and Oliver Moore to carry this team. Spoiler warning, it doesn't work. Very rarely does that work. You have to build your team through free agency and trading. They haven't done it. They added Teravainen last year. They retained Nick Foligno. Great. You got veterans. You have no depth scoring on this team whatsoever. Your defense is young, and they're inexperienced, and they're not good outside of Connor Murphy and maybe Artem Levchinov and Who's the other guy they have? Kevin Korchinski. He's coming along, but not as fast as you'd like him to. And their goaltending, Arvid Soderblom, we'll keep it honest, he's mid at best. He's not great. I don't know who their backup is. I forgot. Is it Peter Mrazek is the backup, I think? He's
Sure.
The team is bad.
Wait, didn't they trade Mrazek to the Wings?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. They traded Mrazek to the Wings. They got somebody.
That was a Red Wings big trade line addition.
Whoever the backup is, it doesn't matter. They still suck. Oh, no, Spencer Knight. My bad.
Yeah, he's a starter.
Spencer Knight's a starter. He's good. They extend him. So you've got a good goalie, some decent prospects at Connor Bedard. There ain't much there. Chicago's going to suck. Bedard's going to request a trade in 2 years once they continue to suck because they're not going to build around him. And we're going to be like, well, that's how you waste a generational prospect, just like the Sabres did with Jack Eichel. And they were forced to trade him because of what happened, because they kept tire spinning. Eventually he got hurt, had a dispute, got traded. That's what I think. I think Chicago is, they're an utter, and obviously new GM this year, I think. But this team is a train wreck. They're a train wreck. They're a train wreck.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Do I think they're going to be worse than Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh literally doesn't have anybody.
They have Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang. I trust that over Connor Bedard and a bunch of friends.
That's a good point. I know they still have Crosby. Dude, Malkin's not as good as he used to be, man.
He's still Evgeny Malkin.
They literally have Crosby, and that's about it. Crosby can't carry an entire team. They're going to be terrible, man.
I've seen them do it.
They have no one, and I mean no one around him. No one. And plus, you think the chemistry is good in that locker room? They basically just said before the season, hey, Malkin, this is your last year with the team. You're done after this, buddy. Dude, there's no way they do. I don't know.
They brought Flower back for a preseason game.
I would be more inclined to think that the Blackhawks are. I'm not saying they're going to make a huge jump, and I'm not saying they're going to make a jump at all.
They're not going to make a jump at all.
I think they're
really bad.
I think their young guys will make a small enough jump to be better than whatever the hell is going on in Pittsburgh. That's what I think.
Here's the thing: Chicago's ceiling is so high. If their young guys produce, I mean, if they hit their stride, this team could be really good.
And I think their ceiling is high enough to the point where they're going to be better than whatever the hell's going on in Pittsburgh. That's all I'm trying to say.
I agree. I understand where you're coming from, but unless this team makes, if they make that jump, then yeah, they're way better than Pittsburgh. They're better than San Jose. They're better than Nashville. They're probably better than Boston. I don't see it. I need to see it. Lib talked about this entire new core of Chicago. They're going to make a difference in 3 years. We are on year 3, and it looks like the same old bullshit we've seen the last 2 years. I need to see it out of Chicago. That's just my grievance.
Yeah, like I said, I still think they're I'm basically debating: are they going to be the worst team or the second worst team?
Pretty much.
This is a useless debate, but
yeah.
All I'm trying to say, I'll say my central rankings now. Not much different from yours, except I do have the Jets still first. I know they lost the Oilers, but I think they're a great team. Hellebuck's great in the regular season, not so much in the playoffs, but Dallas second, they're right behind them, not too far. Colorado third. I'm actually going to put Utah fourth. I think they're a good enough team. I think they're young, they're up and coming. I think they're going to make that next jump.
I wouldn't argue it.
Whole team culture has changed, new owner. I think that just a new environment, I think, has really, really, really helped Utah. I'll put Minnesota fifth. They're literally right behind Utah, neck and neck. Like I said, you're probably intertwine the two.
Right.
I'm going to put St. Louis sixth. I think they get worse only because, like you said, they really didn't do much in the offseason to get better. I think they really needed to do something to get somewhat better. Do I think they're going to be bad? No, I don't think they're going to be bad. They've always made some late season pushes. That's what they're kind of known for. Do I think they make the playoffs? No, I don't think they make the playoffs. And then, so I have Utah sixth, and then, Predator seventh. Exactly what you said. Why should I think they're going to get any better if they just got our crown roll with the same shit last year?
Yep.
I don't see how they can get any better. I should have started off by saying, oh, man, I think the Predators are going to come in first, and then just say, haha, joking. Everyone, that wouldn't have been a good joke. But, yeah, I mean, because you think last year, I guarantee you if we made this video at the same time last year, we would have thought the Predators were going to be great. Stamkos, Marchessault, all those guys. And they just do nothing. They're just a bunch of old heads now, which kind of sucks. And then we talked about this for 5 minutes already, Blackhawks 8th. All right, last division, the Pacific.
All yours, you lead it off. I think the one seat's pretty obvious.
Yeah, obviously Vegas. So second, I also think this one's pretty obvious. Probably Edmonton.
Yeah.
I don't see who else could take second. You could maybe make an argument for the Kings. I just don't think they're good enough. only because they didn't do much in the offseason to say, hey, I think we're going to be better than Edmonton. I do have them third, but I just don't think the Kings are going to be as great as what they were last year. Do I think they're going to get 100 points? No, but are they a lock for the playoffs? Yeah, I'd say they're a lock. But I just don't think they're going to come in second. I'll say third.
Okay.
This one is interesting, fourth, because you can argue for a lot of teams here, if I'm being honest, because some of these teams are young up and coming, like the Sharks, like the Ducks, but I don't have them at 4 quite just yet. I think I'm going to stick with the Canucks. I don't think they're a bad team, but I'd be curious to see how their team chemistry is now. I'll have them a fourth. Do I think they're making the playoffs? No, I don't know. It'll be very close. That wild card hunt's going to be close between them, Minnesota, and Utah. But I think I'll take Minnesota and Utah to make the playoffs, those 2 wild card spots. And then, this is tough because now I have Calgary, Anaheim, and San Jose, and I think all 3 of those teams aren't going to be great, but I think they're going to be...
Seattle.
Seattle's last. Sorry.
Okay. Because we agree on something.
Yeah, so I just kind of spoiled my last one there. Yeah, this is tough. I think I don't want to. The Flames should not be 7th because they're just not that bad of a team to be 7th. But at the same time, I think the Ducks and the Sharks are 2 good teams that I can see making some jumps.
I don't think San Jose's going to make that high of a jump. But continue. You have your own reasoning.
For now, because I haven't seen it yet and I don't want to make an ass out of myself, I'll go Calgary 5th. Yeah, Anaheim 6th, and then San Jose 7th. That's what I'll do right now. But I do think Quenneville in Anaheim is going to make more of a difference than what people think. I think he's a great head coach.
So,
and then I got to look at San Jose, and they're a very young team, probably with some of the most promising players in the league.
Oh yes.
So go ahead. What were you going to do?
Consensus 1 and 2. Vegas, Edmonton. Vegas adds Marner. The evil empire continues. Edmonton, they got Leon and McDavid. They just traded for Connor Ingram. Not like I don't know how much that matters, but it's something. Traded for. They just signed a goalie, I think. Signed or traded for.
Yeah, Connor Ingram's not going to make they need a difference maker in the playoffs. It's not Connor Ingram.
Right.
They still have nothing.
Savoy is going to get his first NHL taste. I don't know how much that's going to matter because he's looking to be a decent top 9 winger, which
He's not going to make much of a difference now, but I forgot to mention Isaac Howard. Really excited to see him.
Howard is going to make a big difference in 3 years.
But not right now, but
not right
he's
now.
on an up and coming. Yep.
Hot take of the century. I've got Calgary as the 3 in the Pacific. I think this team is ready. I really do, especially having Dustin Wolf backing them. We know what Winnipeg can do with a couple stars and a fantastic goalie. And I can see the vision with Calgary with that. Dustin Wolf is the best young goaltender in the NHL right now. He won the Calder. Not debatable. I think that defensively they're pretty good playing defense, which is what Calgary's been based around the last few years, besides the one year where they had Gaudreau, Kachuk, and Monahan, or Lindholm, and they were scoring every time they touched the ice. But this team is built around defense. They got the assets to do it. I think this Calgary team can make some noise. 4 seed, I've got the Kings and missing the playoffs. To me, LA didn't do enough to be like, yeah, they're going to be good. They lost Gavrikov, which was huge. Who did they replace him with?
I'm not sure, but I think that this being Kopitar's last season, I feel like they're going to try to go out with some kind of bang. They're not going to disappoint him.
Sean, we know who they replaced with. A bunch of older guys that sucked because, remember, we rated their free agency period terrible.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
So they got older and not better. I just don't see a lot of LA. These next 3 teams you could interchange. I got Vancouver at 5, Anaheim 6, San Jose 7. Vancouver still has got Pettersson. He'll make the jump this year. Quinn Hughes is still there. Thatcher Demko is good when healthy. Kevin Lincoln improved that he could be a good goalie. Jake DeBrusk is solid. Connor Garland's had a resurgence. I think Vancouver's good, but the new head coach, I have questions. So we'll see how they are. Anaheim, I love Joe Quenneville. Love the signing. They've gotten a little bit more older to get some veteranocity in here. Chris Kreider was the big piece in the offseason for them. I think it's a good move. I don't think the Ducks are ready to take that next step yet. I think they're close. I think next year's when you're like, okay, the Ducks can contend for this division. Not the division, but being top 3 of the division. I think they're close. Could I see them making the wild card this year if Quenneville gets them going? Absolutely. I could see it. I don't think they're ready yet. I think they're super, super close. I think they're super, super close, especially if this defense pair takes the next step. And oh yeah, Detroit. Sorry to go back. John Gibson. That was the other big ad. They traded for Gibson.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yes.
So Dostal now has the net permanently, which is good. He's a great goalie. He deserves it.
Can I make a change? I want to swap Calgary and Vancouver. I have Calgary 4.
Go ahead.
I agree with what you said with the Flames. I think they're probably a better team than the Canucks, so I'll swap.
I mean, Calgary made a run at the playoffs last year, and they got so close.
Right.
I think they can redo it.
Right.
San Jose. This is the biggest wild card team of all of them. They could make the playoffs if the cards fall right. They've got Toffoli. If their defense is to get any kind of better, and their goaltending can get any kind of better, the forward group on this team in the next 5 years is going to be nuts. You have Macklin Celebrini, who's already a stud. Will Smith, stud. Eklund, finally starting to hit his stride. Gonna be a stud. They drafted Michael Misa. 1, 2, 3 C's are Celebrini, Misa, and Smith. I wish I had that. And Misa can probably play the wing. Is probably where he's going to play. He's going to be a stud. And oh yeah, they drafted this kid out of Hamburg, New York, named Quentin Musty. He's pretty freaking good too. He's a winger. Their top 6 in about 2 years is going to be loaded. This Sharks team within about 3 years should be competing not only for the playoffs but for a cup if they get the right defense core and they drafted Sam Dickinson, I think this year or last year. He's going to be a good player. They've got a ton of great prospects on this pool. I think, and they've made the moves in free agency to get guys around them. Toffoli, they added Wenberg, I'm pretty sure. That they've made the moves to get the veteran guys in here. I think that they have a chance to make noise if the cards fall right. I don't think it's this year. I think they are better than they were the last few years. I don't think they're the worst team in the NHL. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. But oh my God, this Sharks team makes me so excited for their future. This team makes me super excited for what they could be.
So I think we both have the Kraken last. But
yeah, Seattle sucks.
Even though we have Anaheim and San Jose towards the bottom, we're pretty hopeful. The future is definitely bright.
Like I said, I feel like if there's teams that are going to drop out, it's going to be LA and Vancouver. And the teams are going to be up are Calgary, Anaheim, and San Jose. Seattle, Lane Lambert, not a good hire. I don't like it. They added a lot of middle 6-4s to fix a top 6 problem, and they didn't do it. Mason Marchment does not move the needle for me.
I don't even think Lane Lambert's going to be a bad head coach.
No,
I just think the team sucks.
Thanks, Jason Botterill. You ruined another franchise. That team's bad. They're going to be bad. If they're not bottom 4 in the league, I'll be impressed.
Yep, me too.
Beniers has not done it. Shane Wright, we're still waiting. There are only good players like Vince Dunn and Jared McCann. That's about it. They have no goaltending, really. DeCord's fine, but doesn't knock the needle. Rucker Evans is a good young player. Caco's been good.
Caco.
They just, they're. And right now in the league, there's a lot of good teams that aren't going to make the playoffs. And there's a lot of teams that are, they're going to finish bottom 5 in the league. That's how it is.
Chandler Stevenson, right?
Yeah, he's been, Again, they signed him as a top 6 forward. They signed him to be a top 6 forward to solve the toxic problem. Guess what he became? A top 9 forward, which is what he was.
Yep.
Pre-Vegas, and then Vegas had him playing had more of a condensed role in the top 6 with better players, so he became that. They signed him to a massive contract extension. They didn't have Mark Stone playing around him or those type of guys. And guess what? He returned to a top 9 forward, which is what he is. Sorry. You bring in a bunch of guys that are top 9 wingers or middle 6 wingers to fit top roles. They're not going to do it. They're not going to score a lot. Their forward group's going to suck unless the top young guys start to produce. Probably not going to happen. I don't have a lot of faith in Seattle. They're going to be bad.
No, I agree with all that. And I guess we'll know if all of our predictions are right once the season starts in 5 days now?
Yeah, next
5
Tuesday.
days, man. I'm
Tuesday,
excited.
I think. Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
We're gonna have to do a reaction to this video and think, oh man, that was a great take, or man, that was a horrible
They're
take.
probably all gonna be pretty bad. So everybody,
we'll see what happens. There's gonna be a lot of surprises, and there's gonna be a lot of man, what the hell just happened there?
So we gotta do this kind of quick, guys, because we're running out of time. But random player of the day, everybody's favorite. I'll go first because I want to get Sean his out of the way because he'll probably get this one pretty easily.
I don't know about that.
Drafted first overall in 2001.
Oh, isn't it? Isn't this just Marc-Andre Fleury? Wait,
no, it's not Marc-Andre Fleury.
Hang on. Isn't this Ilya Kovalchuk?
Thank you. Done. Thank you. Good job. Don't you gotta go the rest of it.
It was either Fleury or Kovalchuk. I was like, which one is it?
First overall 2001.
Wasn't Fleury 2002?
Yes, he was.
All right, yeah, I was gonna say it's one of the two, and then 3 was who was 3 again?
Sue Johnson.
Yeah, and then obviously 4. Who's 4 again? Who's 2004?
Ovi, then Crosby.
Oh, actually, yeah, no, I knew that one.
Then Kane.
Yeah, I was gonna Fleury or Kovalchuk. Which one? All right, thank you for making that easy.
Yeah, we give Sean a softball this time.
Gee, thanks. All right, mine's fun. This guy was drafted in 1992.
Oh God.
I think this was. It says by Quebec, so I'm gonna assume he was drafted in 1992 by the Nordiques.
Oh
The
God.
10th round. He was the 4th pick in the 10th round. All right, he actually started his career in 1996 with the Capitals.
What?
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I said I was making this hard. This is not going to be easy. But you know who this is.
No,
you know,
I don't.
Yes, you do.
Not a
When I
clue.
say his name, you're going to know who it is.
No.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I continue
All
reading
right.
the list.
And then he went to Boston in that same year in '96. He played for them for 4 seasons. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to Edmonton. He played there for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
All right. And that was up until 03.
3.
No, sorry. That was until 02.
02.
Sorry. All right. And then he played for New York for a couple seasons. All right.
Yeah.
And then he got traded back to the Capitals in 03. All right.
Yeah.
And then he went to the Kings same year in 03. And then he
Until
went
when?
Until 04. All right. And then he went to the Canucks in 05. Went to the Blue Jackets. And then the Hurricanes. And he finished his career in 2007. He played for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different teams.
I have a guess.
All right.
And
this-
no, it's not because I've seen this on your laptop. I did not know who it was until you listed the amount of teams he
this
played
person,
for.
this person's a forward.
He is a forward.
He's a forward.
He has I think he has a son that's currently in the NHL right now that plays for Columbus.
I don't even
Is this
know.
Mike Sillinger?
No, it's not.
Really?
No, it's
It's
not.
not Sillinger.
It's not because you're gonna laugh. When
I was
say
gonna
the
say I
name.
was thinking Mike Sillinger because he was the most traded forward in NHL history. I'm pretty sure.
All right. Well, since you got it wrong, I'll just keep giving you hints. I said
wasn't
I was going to
Sillinger.
continue the trend. I said I would continue the trend. I've already done 2 of the guys.
Is this Wheat? Did he play for Philly?
Keep going.
Did he play for Philly?
Who?
This player?
No, he did not.
No. So it's not Anson Carter.
Well, yes, it is. It's Anson Carter.
Is it Anson Carter?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought Anson Carter played for Philly.
This is
Good
Anson-
one. Yeah, that was a good one.
This is him, right? I hope I have the right fucking.
If it's Mike Sillinger, I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah, Anson Carter.
Okay, good job. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got me on that one.
Dude, I hope I have. He has like dreads in his picture. I'm
that'd
pretty-
be Anson Carter.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say
Anson
like,
Carter.
this is Anson Carter, right?
Yeah, you got me. Good job.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I instantly thought Mike Sillinger because the amount of teams you're ripping off. I'm like,
I was like, I hope I got the right guy.
I'm like, is it?
Like, how many Anson Carters are there in the league?
I was gonna say, I didn't see your screen before this. Yeah, you got me. That's a good one. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, so
I'm not
for
even
a little
mad
bit
about
of
that.
backstory, before we started recording, Andy came into my room to see if I was ready, and I had his stats pulled up right on my computer. I was like,
Didn't
oh
see
shit,
it.
wait, no.
Didn't see it.
And I could have sworn he saw it, but I guess he didn't.
I told you I didn't see it. I didn't know who the hell you were talking about.
It is Anson
That's a
Carter.
good one. Yeah.
I'm going through the entire NHL and TNT cast, baby.
Yeah.
That's the
I
only
better
way I'm
get
gonna
I better get Lundqvist now that I threw you a layup. You play for the Rangers and the Capitals.
Gonna have to. I can't believe I said Fleury. I guess I don't get that one, do I? No.
I'll give it
It's
to
actually
you.
No, it doesn't count.
Don't want it?
Kovalchuk and Fleury are 2 different players.
They are very
drafted in
different.
2 different years, and
1
that's
year
easy
apart.
terminology for first overall pick. So I'm being laughed and pointed at. I know it, guys. Go ahead. It's deserved.
All right, guys.
Whatever.
Well, we're running out of time here, so thank you for tuning in to our predictions episode. We'll see you in 2 weeks because we're taking a break next week.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks, and we actually get to talk about the regular season.
Yes.
Nice.
It is finally here. We cannot wait to bring you guys this
Finally,
wonderful
last
content.
podcast episode of the off season.
Yes.
Hockey starts by the time we record our next episode.
All right, guys. Well, for the great Sean Wallace who got me today, and I'm really proud of him. I'm Aiden Calkins. Thank you for tuning in to the Snipe Square podcast. As always, like, share, and subscribe to Afterthought Sports on all of our social media, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all the good stuff. And we will see you in the next episode. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you, guys.